The Midnight Visitor. The night sky erupted with light as Rowan Thorne adjusted his telescope, fingers moving with practiced precision across the dials. The Perseid meteor shower was peaking, and he'd waited months for this night. His small observatory, perched on the edge of his property in the mountains of Colorado, offered perfect isolation from light pollution and prying neighbors. "There you are," he whispered, watching a particularly bright streak cross his viewfinder. But this meteor moved oddly, slowing, changing direction slightly. Rowan frowned, making rapid calculations in his head. No natural object moved like that. The light disappeared behind the tree line on his property. Seconds later, a muffled impact shook the ground beneath his feet. No explosion, no fire, just a strange, pulsing glow emanating from the small ravine about half a mile from his cabin. Curiosity overcame caution as he grabbed his emergency kit and flashlight, heading into the darkness. The autumn air bit through his flannel shirt as he picked his way down the familiar path. The pulsing light grew stronger, casting strange shadows among the pines. What he found wasn't a meteorite. It was a sleek, damaged craft no larger than a small car, half buried in the soft earth. More shocking was the figure that had crawled several yards away from it, a woman, barely conscious, her skin a luminescent purple that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. She wore what appeared to be form-fitting armor, cracked and damaged across her torso. Her breathing came in ragged gasps, and a substance that gleamed as liquid silver seeped from a wound in her side. "Hey," Rowan said softly, approaching slowly. "Can you understand me?" Her eyes snapped open, vivid violet with no visible pupils, and she scrambled backward despite her injury, speaking in a musical language he couldn't comprehend. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said, raising his hands. She switched languages, her voice hoarse. Proximity translation initializing, your dialect. Processing. Her accent was strange, melodic. "Stay back, human." "You're hurt," Rowan said. "I'm a scientist, a healer of sorts. Let me help you." "They will come for me," she whispered, wincing. "You endanger yourself." In the distance, sirens wailed. Someone else had noticed the object falling from the sky. Rowan made a split-second decision. "Can you walk? We need to move quickly." Her eyes searched his face. "Why would you help me?" "Because you need it," he replied simply. "My name is Rowan. I am called—" She hesitated, as if translating in her mind. "Lyra. My true name would be unpronounceable to you." He helped her stand, supporting her weight as she swayed against him. Her skin was warm, almost feverish to the touch, and she smelled of something like ozone and sweet spices. "Your craft," he began. "Self-destruct sequence initiated upon crash. It will leave no trace." As if on cue, a soft whine built behind them, followed by a flash of light and a wave of heat. When Rowan looked back, nothing remained but scorched earth. They reached his cabin just as the first official vehicles crested the main road. Inside, Lyra collapsed onto his couch, her purple skin now alarmingly pale. "Whatever happens," she whispered, "you should know that helping me may have just made you part of an interstellar conflict you cannot comprehend." Rowan pulled the blinds shut and turned to face her. "Let's focus on keeping you alive first. Then you can tell me what stars you fell from."
Echoes of another world. The mountain lake reflected the afternoon sun as Rowan skipped stones across its surface. Beside him, Lyra attempted to mimic the motion, her frustration evident when her stones immediately sank. "The angle is wrong," he explained, stepping behind her. He hesitated before gently positioning her arm, hyper-aware of the warmth of her purple skin against his fingertips. Like this. She released the stone, watching with satisfaction as it bounced 4 times before disappearing. Her smile, still rare but increasingly frequent, transformed her face, softening the regal sharpness of her features. A pointless skill, she observed, yet satisfying. That's most of being human, Rowan replied with a laugh. 2 weeks had passed since her arrival. The official searches had dwindled, though occasional government vehicles still patrolled the area. During that time, Lyra had revealed more about her world, a planet of towering crystal cities and vast oceans where her people had evolved from semi-aquatic ancestors. As a sentinel, she had been trained from youth to protect her civilization from external threats. "You never had a choice in your profession?" Rowan asked, as they sat by the lake's edge, feet dangling in the cool water. "Choice is a luxury," she said, watching a dragonfly hover nearby. "But no, I didn't choose. My biological markers indicated aptitude. I was selected." She tilted her face toward the sun. "This is the first time I've lived without purpose or directive." "And how does it feel?" Her violet eyes met his. Terrifying. Exhilarating. That night, a storm rolled across the mountains, lightning illuminating the cabin in flashes of brilliant white. Rowan found Lyra standing on the porch, face upturned to the rain, her skin gleaming with moisture. "It's just water," he called over the thunder, "not acid rain, but you'll still catch cold." She gave him a look that suggested his concern was amusing. "My immune system would destroy your earth pathogens in moments." Nevertheless, she stepped back under the shelter of the porch roof, closer to him than necessary. "The atmospheric discharge," she said, gesturing to the lightning, "it reminds me of the lumen fields back home. My father would take me there to watch the energy storms when I was small." "You miss it," Rowan observed. "Parts of it," her voice softened, "not the isolation of duty." A particularly close lightning strike illuminated them, thunder cracking overhead instantly. In the startling brightness, their eyes locked, and something shifted between them. Without thinking, Rowan reached out, brushing a raindrop from her cheek. She didn't move away. "Rowan," she whispered, his name sounding exotic in her accent. "Your species forms emotional attachments quickly." "Is that a problem?" he asked, his heart pounding. "It's dangerous," she replied, but leaned closer, her breath warm against his lips. "For both of us." Their kiss tasted of rain and something alien yet sweet, tentative at first, then with growing certainty. Her fingers traced the contours of his face, as if memorizing him by touch. When they finally separated, breathless, Lyra's skin glowed more intensely, pulsing with her heartbeat. They moved inside as the storm intensified, discovering each other slowly through the night, the differences in their bodies subtle but fascinating, her purple skin luminous against his sheets, their connection transcending the vast distances between their worlds. Dawn found them entwined, her head resting on his chest as he traced patterns on her shoulder. The moment of peace shattered when Lyra suddenly sat up, her expression alarmed. "What's wrong?" Rowan asked. She moved to the window, pushing aside the curtain. "They're coming." "Who?" "The Covenant Hunters." Her voice was flat, emotionless, reverting to her sentinel training. "I can sense their approach signature entering your solar system." She turned to him, her eyes now hard with resolve. "You've shown me kindness beyond measure, Rowan, but now I must leave, or everything you care about will be in danger." Celestial promises. Consciousness returned to Rowan in fragments, the smell of smoke, distant voices, pain radiating from his left shoulder. He opened his eyes to blinding sunlight and the realization that he was no longer in his cabin, but lying on the shore of the mountain lake, nearly half a mile from his property. "Don't move," Lyra's voice came from beside him. "Your collarbone is fractured." He turned his head carefully to find her kneeling next to him, her purple skin marred with what appeared to be burns along one side of her face and arm. Behind her, a plume of black smoke rose from the direction of his cabin. "How did we—" "I carried you," she said simply. "The vessel crash created a cascade failure in the other ships. They've retreated to orbit, but they'll return once systems recalibrate." Rowan struggled to sit up despite her protest. "Vax, recalled with his vessel. Covenant protocol prioritizes technology preservation over mission completion." Her expression was unreadable. "We have perhaps 2 hours." 2 hours. Rowan looked across the lake to the burning remains of his home, everything he'd built over the past decade, now reduced to ash. Yet strangely, he felt no despair, only clarity. "We need to leave," he said. "Yes." Lyra helped him to his feet, supporting his weight. "There's a settlement, 17 kilometers south. You'll be safe there." "Not just me," Rowan said, meeting her eyes. "Us. Together." Her expression softened, a complexity of emotions crossing her face. "Rowan, I can't stay on Earth. The Covenant will never stop hunting me here, and my presence endangers your entire species." "Then take me with you." She stepped back, surprise evident in her violet eyes. "You would leave your world? Everything you know?" "What do I have left here?" He gestured toward the smoke. "Besides, I'm an astronomer. What better way to study the stars than among them?" For a moment she was silent, studying his face as if searching for doubt. "The journey would be dangerous, and even if we survived, you would be an alien among my kind, never truly belonging." "I've never truly belonged here either," he admitted, thinking of his solitary life in the mountains. "At least out there, we'd be outsiders together." A smile slowly transformed her face. Not the cautious, measured expressions he'd grown accustomed to, but something radiant and unguarded. She stepped forward, pressing her palm against his cheek. "There is a way," she said. "When the hunters retreated, their emergency protocol would have activated a distress beacon. Among my people, there are those who oppose the Covenant's methods, a resistance movement I was part of. If they detected the signal, they might send an extraction team. How would we contact them?" Lyra reached into a pouch at her waist, withdrawing a small crystal that pulsed with internal light. "This contains my genetic signature and rank codes. If amplified through your observatory equipment, what remains of it, it might reach their sensors." They made their way back toward the property, skirting the still-burning cabin to reach the observatory, which had survived largely intact. Inside, Lyra worked quickly to integrate the crystal into the modified telescope array. "If this works," she said as she made final adjustments, "a retrieval craft will appear there." She pointed to a clearing visible through the observatory dome. "We would have moments to board before the Covenant detects their presence." "And if it doesn't work?" Rowan asked. She turned to him, her expression serious. "Then we run, as far and as fast as we can, and I teach you everything I know about evading hunters." He stepped closer, carefully taking her hand in his despite the pain in his shoulder. "Either way, we face it together." She nodded, then activated the crystal. It flared brilliantly, sending a beam of energy skyward through the telescope. For several long minutes, nothing happened. Rowan's hope began to fade until Lyra suddenly tensed. "Look!" she whispered. A distortion appeared in the air above the clearing, like heat waves on a summer road. It shimmered, expanded, then coalesced into a small craft unlike the Covenant vessels, sleeker, with organic curves rather than geometric patterns. Lyra's face lit up. "It's them! The Starborn Resistance!" She turned to Rowan, urgency in her voice. "This is your last chance to change your mind. Once you leave Earth—" She silenced her with a gentle kiss. "My home is with you now." They ran to the clearing as the craft descended, a door materializing in its smooth surface. Standing in the opening was another being with purple skin who extended a hand toward them. "Sentinel Lyra,
The Covenant fleet has regrouped. We have minimal time." Rowan hesitated just for a moment at the threshold, looking back at the smoke-filled sky above the mountains, his last glimpse of Earth. Then Lyra's hand found his, fingers intertwining. "The stars are waiting," she whispered. He stepped on board, the door sealing behind them as the craft surged upward through Earth's atmosphere. Through a viewing portal, Rowan watched his planet grow smaller, its blue-green surface gradually giving way to the infinite blackness of space, now filled with possibility rather than emptiness. In the soft light of the ship's interior, Lyra's purple skin glowed as she spoke quietly with the Resistance pilot, occasionally glancing back at Rowan with eyes full of promise. When she returned to his side, her fingers once again found his. "Are you afraid?" she asked. "Terrified," he admitted. Then he smiled. "And I've never felt more alive." As Earth disappeared from view and the ship accelerated beyond anything human technology could achieve, Lyra began to tell him of the wonders awaiting them, worlds with rings of ice that sang in solar winds, cities built within the branches of trees tall as mountains, oceans where light creatures danced beneath 2 moons. And as she spoke, her head resting against his shoulder, Rowan understood that in losing his home, he had found something far greater, a universe of possibilities, and someone to explore it with. The craft jumped to faster-than-light travel, stars blurring around them into streams of light, carrying them toward an uncertain future that, whatever it held, they would face together.